The falling sky. She staggered through the smoke and the screams, desperately searching. There were shouts and cries of alarm from the darkness, and ahead she could hear the sound of booted feet pounding out an angry drumbeat as they marched over rock. A man staggered into view, moaning and gripping the bloody arrow shaft that protruded from his chest. She locked eyes with him for a moment, but it was clear he didn't see her. He was so overcome by shock. He dropped to his knees, his jaws moving as if to speak, but no words issued forth as she ran past him. The smoke parted to reveal a formation of soldiers coming up from where the ships had docked. They wore heavy-looking armour formed of curved steel bands and carried spears and heavy shields. Their commander was shouting orders in a language she didn't recognise, but his intent was clear. He was ordering them to attack. Panicking, she turned left, ducking into the narrow alley that ran between two houses. One of the buildings was shattered and burning. Some great stone covered in burning pitch hurled from the ships had smashed its way through the roof and set everything alight. There was screaming from inside the building and desperate pleas for help. There was nothing she could do. The attack had come without warning. Everyone who had stood to fight had been cut down, or worse. The only hope was to reach the water's edge and try to escape. But first, she had to find her daughter. Overview. The Empire is one of 6 great powers who wield influence over the known world. 2 of those other nations, the Commonwealth and the Sumar Republic, are allied to the Empire via the Liberty Pact. 2 others, the Asavean Archipelago and the Principalities of Yarm, are slaving nations, targeted with sanctions by the Pact members. The last nation, the Sarkophan Delves, neither uses slaves nor upholds the Liberty Pact, cherishing the freedom to trade where it wills. There are countless smaller nations in the known world, but those that neighbour the Empire are of particular importance to Imperial citizens. Faradon, Axos, the Iron Confederacy, Otkadov, and the Broken Shore are all home to nations whose proximity grants them an unexpected level of influence over the much larger empire they surround. Each nation has its own agenda, and the waters of international diplomacy can be choppy indeed. The Liberty Pact. Axos is boycotting the meeting of the Liberty Pact that was planned for this summit. The Commonwealth have proposed the meeting be postponed to the summer. The ambassador to the Commonwealth is Lucia Sanguinio Rezia di Tassato of the League. The ambassador to the Sumar Republic is currently Accolon of Felix Watch of Highguard, and the ambassador to Axos is Finton Nighthaven of the Navarre. All members of the Liberty Pact enjoy free trade with each other. There was due to be a meeting of the 4 signatories of the Liberty Pact at the forthcoming summit. While the treaty does not contain any provisions for regular meetings, there was an informal arrangement that those who have joined the Liberty Pact will meet at Anvil at the spring solstice to discuss matters arising. However, it seems that serious problems have arisen. The Axos have sent word that they intend to boycott the meeting. Moreover, they refuse to send official delegates to the Empire until the current diplomatic conflict is resolved. In light of the situation, the Commonwealth has informed the Imperial Civil Service that they are not in a position to send a representative to the Empire at this time either. Apparently, the situation with Yarm is too precarious. Rather than cancel, they have indicated they would like to postpone their attendance for a season. They have written to every member of the Pact to explain the issues they wish the Pact to raise. If the Empire indicates that a meeting is possible, then they will travel to Anvil for the summer solstice to discuss their proposals. With 2 nations absent, it is not possible for the Pact to make any legally binding changes to the agreement. As a result, the Sumar have also sent their apologies. They have indicated that they are amenable to meeting in the summer solstice, if the Empire is prepared to host. Each of the nations have made it clear to the civil service they expect to receive agenda items to be raised by the Empire from their respective ambassadors this season if there is anything the Empire wishes to raise. Rebuilding rations grub. The Commonwealth have claimed the Tears of the Moon. They are willing to accept Imperial support in Wains. Following the assault and ration grab, a small force from the Commonwealth have moved in and claimed the Tears of the Moon. When a number of Zalbera who are studying at the Schloss are informed of the judgment raised by Hembeneth I Egrer in the Assembly of 9, there is some confusion. They are quick to confirm that the Commonwealth would be willing to accept the offer of aid if the wealthy of the Empire were willing to gift mithril, weirwood, or white granite. They would be most grateful, and it would go a long way to help restore structure on the islands. They want to be clear that only people living in Rationsgrab who were there a year ago are the former slaves, who are now working alongside the Commonwealth to establish order. The few of the old guard who remained after the Empire left swiftly faced retribution from those freed by the action. Trade with Axos. The docks at Issyk have been torched by the Grendel. The Aksu have ended a number of their trade deals with the Empire. A few weeks after the winter solstice, a large Grendel force attacks Isk's docks. looting the warehouses and burning the piers and jetties down to the waterline, the sanctions that the Axu had placed on the Grendel, the choice to side with the Empire over the Grendel, the refusal to agree to terms and treaties with the Grendel, it all seems to have simply been too much for the Orcs of the Broken Shore to accept. Since they could not negotiate further with the Axu of Issyk, they have decided to make sure that nobody else can either. This, along with the ongoing diplomatic problems that face Imperial and Axu relations, has seen the start of effects on trade with the Axu. The Eastern Broker has lost access to their ministry from Isk, and both of their mana and materials ministries have lost their highest rank for the foreseeable future. It is highly probable that other trade agreements will suffer if the most recent round of troubles are not dealt with. The Freedom Accord. The Asavean Plenum declared war on the Empire during the autumn equinox 384 YE. There are reports of a surprise attack carried out by Asavean warships against an Imperial settlement. The Imperial Senate has embargoed the Principalities of Yarm. The Principalities of Yarm have severed ties with the Empire. The ambassador to Asavea is Pact of the Imperial Orcs. The ambassador to Yarm is currently Ariadne of Urizen. In response to the attack on Chaloncio, Asavea issued a declaration of war against the Empire at the end of 384 YE. All trade with Asavea ended, their ports were closed to Imperial shipping, and the Cavabianca docks fell silent. Despite this, the Empire declined to respond in any kind, and at first there appeared to be few other consequences. That may be about to change. In the final days before the summit of Anvil, there are wild rumours everywhere of an attack on an Imperial mainland by a flotilla of Asavean warships. Nobody seems to agree on the details. Some say it's 5 ships, some say 50. Some reports say that Sarvos has been attacked, others say that Sirok has been fired, or Trevento. There are fears that Asavea may have somehow moved a navy into Imperial waters, but even if they haven't, they could pose a serious threat. The Empire knows how much damage can be done by a committed force of small military vessels. At present, there are no confirmed reports, nor is it clear who might know. Only someone who was there at the time of the attack is likely to know the facts. Sarkovan Delves. The Sarkovan Delves are delighted by the Imperial Senate's decision to extend free trade to their merchants and traders. In gratitude, their ambassador has asked the Gullit family to renew their offer to take over the palace docks for another season. The Sarkovan have opened Betovering docks to the Empire's fleets. The ambassador to the Sarkovan Delves is Talia of Netherwatch of Urizen. Relations with the Sarkovan continue to improve. They make little secret of their delight at the decision to allow their merchants to trade freely in the Empire on the same terms as other members of the Liberty Pact. In response, they have been as good as their word and opened Betovering docks in Sarkovan to the Empire's fleets. They look forward to welcoming Imperial captains to the Delves. At the request of the ambassador to the Delves, Talia of Netherwatch, the Sarkovan have encouraged the Gullit family to keep their offer to take over the palace docks on the table for another season. They caution that the Imperial Senate will need to give the Gullit a response this season, otherwise the family will be forced to dispose of their weirwood elsewhere. The Van der Sar are now looking elsewhere for other markets to sell their ingots and measures. However, a few Sarkovan families and guilds have taken an interest in the Cavabianca docks, which have also stood idle since relations with Yarm broke down. The ambassador has been presented with some initial proposals with a view to working up a fully detailed offer if the ambassador indicates the Empire might be interested. Diplomatic endeavours. Vito Dineri de Sarvos has offered to support the ambassadors of the Empire. Vito is a merchant prince of an expanding trade cartel with connections across the known world. The merchant prince Vito Dineri de Sarvos is the head of the Gold and Sugar Cartel and wants to support the various ambassadors of the Empire to ensure that they can continue to do the role they were elected to do. As such, Vito, who has been the head of the Gold and Sugar Cartel for close to 60 years, has made an offer to the various ambassadors of the Empire. They can send him a letter to pass on to their counterparts in the various nations of the known world. Obviously, there might have been some issues with getting letters to the nations Empire is currently at war with, or that have declared war on the Empire, but de Sarvos has made an oath that the letters he is given by ambassadors will make it to their counterparts unread. Vito Denari de Santos cannot offer the same to other imperial citizens or other titles. He offers condolences to the imperial consul that he cannot offer to help, as the Gold and Sugar Cartel's motto goes, "The only bad drink is one without sugar." Out of character note. Players whose characters are an ambassador can email plot@profounddecisions.co.uk a letter after each event but before downtime ends. The letter must follow the same restrictions as those for a single call winged messenger. This is something that we are trialling as a quality of life improvement the roles of ambassadors, who face an expectation that they have to discuss matters with their counterparts via letter.